Hello and welcome to Console to Handheld. I'm Ryan Kennard, your host, and for the very first episode of Console to Handheld, I thought we were going to take a look at a couple games based on an arcade game. Now, if you're not familiar with Console to Handheld, this is where I take a look at a console port versus a handheld port. And I thought we'd take a look at a favorite arcade game of mine as we take a look at Centipede on the Sega Genesis versus Centipede on the Game Boy. These are the two games for this episode. Now, normally I would always say and start out by reviewing, actually seeing what the label art is. Basically, what this show is, I'm basically taking a look between which has the best artwork, best gameplay, actually best controls, best presentation, and the gameplay. Only I'm going to look for 4 categories, and these are the two games. I guess I'll show you the label art real quick. We're taking a look at Centipede on the Genesis, represented by the Arcade Classics compilation. And we're taking a look at the Game Boy version, represented by the Arcade Classics Volume 2. Number 2, or something like that. So yeah, basically that's what I'm going to be doing. Now, I would have used the NES one, but I decided this Genesis version is a little different. We'll get to that in a bit. So yeah, for those who don't know, Centipede is one of my all-time favorite arcade game next to Spy Hunter. Yeah, so without further ado, let's head to the TV and take a look at what we see, or which one is better. Let's jump into it. Okay, up first is the console, which being the Genesis version. And as you can see, this compilation includes Centipede, Ultra Pong, and Missile Command. Now we're going to go into here, and we're going to hit whatever. So it's going to ask you option. This is a classic mode. And it plays just like Centipede. Although I find the controls a little bit stiff. There are actually 2 modes in this though. This is the classic mode, obviously it's Centipede. But unfortunately, I found the controls a little too stiff. So I will say that the controls, as I said before, whoa, it's getting fast, as you can see. Play a couple minutes into this, and then we will call that, and then I'll show you the other version in a bit. So I'll play until I at least lose a guy. Let's see what happens if I lose a guy. It don't seem like I'm losing a guy, but yeah. And I lost a guy. Alright, that's the classic version. Okay. And that is the classic version. And now I'm showing you footage through the Sega version. Now, once again, this is the same gameplay. The Sega version just adds a cool background. And honestly, adding the Sega version only makes me think that the Genesis version is better. I just kind of wish the controls were not super stiff. You fire with the C button, obviously. And you can hold it down. Like I said, you move super stiff. Big time. Yeah, so you move super stiff. So that's the Sega version. And that makes this unique for what it is. So, yeah, so far, despite the controls, I'm going to go Genesis so far. We'll get into Game Boy very, very soon. And there we go. On to the Game Boy version. Alright, we are now moving to the Game Boy version. Now, I'm recording this from my phone because I tried putting in a Super Game Boy, but I didn't want to hassle with it. So, I do apologize. So, what you're seeing is footage from the Game Boy version. We'll go to Centipede. Okay. Hope this is right. And this port was actually done by Accolade, who did a lot of these arcade ports. Let me close the door. There we go. Centipede. Although I do like the border a little more. So I'm going to show you the Game Boy version. One that was also done by the Code Monkeys. Okay, let's do it like that. That might be a little better. Okay, let's start her up. Now you can have the option to play. The other one had 2 players. So yeah, let's go ahead and hit 1 player. 1 player. This one is slightly better. The controls aren't terrible. Hold on. Let me see if I can do that. Wow. I'm actually surprised. The gameplay is much better on the Game Boy. Like I said, the controls are actually slightly better in the Game Boy version. So honestly, I gotta give the win to Game Boy. It's looking pretty good. I'll play one more time, and I will give you the final verdict. Yeah, I play like crap. Let's do... Yeah, this is my last guy, I think. Yeah, it's my last guy, so we'll play here. It's a little floaty, but I gotta give the... This is gonna be tough because although while I do like the Sega version in the Sega release, yep, game over. I had a little more fun playing this version. We're gonna go to the verdict. Hey, I made high score. Whatever, I'll just call it by Zoe. So I'm only gonna call it to the Game Boy version. Alright, now the final verdict. Which one can I recommend? Well, they both don't have great controls, but I will say the one I had the most fun was the Game Boy version. The Game Boy version wins it, so I give it to the handheld. To me, this just feels a little better. I'm able to play a lot better, and actually this one I would say is worth picking up. In terms of price-wise, this game is actually pretty dirt cheap. I think I didn't check the price, and I should have did before making this, but virtually these versions are dirt cheap. Like I said again, Game Boy version is the one to go. I couldn't get the Super Game Boy to work, but this is Super Game Boy Enhanced. If you look real close, Super Game Boy Enhanced. So it has a cool background, just like that, but ultimately the Game Boy version is the way to go. The Genesis was super close if they would have fixed the controls. It is a little slippery, like I said, but I was having more fun with the handheld version than something like this. That does it. That is it for this episode. If this does real well, I plan to make more episodes, but this is kind of a new series I'm doing. Like I said, if the label art and everything, I would say that none of them have that good of label art. Although, if you can get a complete box, I'd probably say the Genesis has better box art. But honestly, it's definitely worth a playthrough, so pick it up if you can. I can recommend it. So, thank you for watching. I'm Ryan Kennard. Take care. Hey, as an added bonus, let's go ahead and do the arcade version as well. Now this is the arcade version. Not adding it here, but I just thought I would add that as a bonus though. I'm not going to add it in the final verdict. But this is the original arcade version, for those that are wondering what the real Centipede in the arcade looked like. And I got mauled. Yeah, so I'm just adding this at the very end of the video though. Might be at the end, might not. We'll just have to see, so... Yeah, so that's the arcade version though. So if you can go to a real arcade... or whatever you can find. And in the arcade version, I'm using footage from the Atari Anniversary Edition Redux for the Sony PlayStation. And I thought I would add that as a bonus just for the fun of it, though. Like I said, the two games aren't the real arcade, but actually this game is a lot of fun, to be honest, though. So yeah, I just wanted to add that at the end of it, though, so yeah. And there you go, I just got them all. Take care, guys.